Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Could Shedeur Sanders be Steelers' next franchise quarterback? With the news that the Steelers are bringing Shedeur Sanders in for a pre-draft visit, things got a lot more interesting. Sanders will be the most notable player the team has brought in for a pre-draft visit, with arguably the only more notable quarterback in the draft being Cam Ward. Ward is likely to go first overall, so Sanders could be the second QB off the board. But would he go anywhere near where Pittsburgh would need him to go? This is, as you might have guessed, very much a multi-part question. For Shedeur Sanders to be the Steelers' next franchise quarterback, he has to be on the Steelers. That means the Steelers need to be able to get him, and need to want to, as well. There are very serious questions about whether Shedeur Sanders would even last to the Steelers at 21. And without a second-round pick, it's hard to imagine them giving serious consideration to trading up. But given the quarterback purgatory they're in, if they view him as a franchise quarterback, the price is worth it. Assuming the Steelers even draft Sanders, then they would have to develop him. He would need to have the requisite talent if we're going to talk about him in terms of franchise players. And he isn't the most gifted quarterback to come out of college in years. He certainly has talent, though, and the makings of a successful starter. Successful starter and franchise quarterback aren't necessarily the same thing, though. Andy Dalton was a solid starter. Joe Burrow is a franchise quarterback. The Steelers have had basically two franchise quarterbacks in Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger, so putting Shedeur Sanders in that category sets a high bar. But it does seem as though it might be a conversation we need to start thinking about, at least. If the Steelers are bringing Sanders in for a pre-draft visit, they are obviously interested in him. But are they only willing to see if he slides to 21st overall, or are they willing to trade up? If they really think he is a franchise talent, they can't be afraid of trading up. Because if they're right about him, virtually any price paid to get him is worth it. Versatile DB, highly productive college pass rusher visit Steelers, report. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Ray Fittipaldo reported the Pittsburgh Steelers hosted two college prospects, including SMU edge rusher Elijah Roberts, on Tuesday. The Pittsburgh Steelers have continued to play host to draft prospects this week. On Tuesday, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Ray Fittipaldo reported the Steelers invited SMU edge rusher Elijah Roberts and Ole Miss cornerback Trey Amos for a visit to the team's facilities. The Steelers hosted Roberts and Amos a day after the team had Florida State defensive lineman Joshua Farmer and Virginia Tech running back Bashal Tutin in for visits. The Steelers are playing host to two college prospects today, SMU DTL Elijah Roberts, Ole Miss CB Trey Amos. The Steelers have two players on top 30 visits at the facility today, Florida State DL Joshua Farmer and Virginia Tech RB Bashal Tutin. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein wrote positive things about both Amos and Roberts in each player's scouting report. Zierlein was particularly complimentary of the Ole Miss defensive back. Long press cornerback who proved he could make the jump from the Sun Belt to the SEC without a hitch, Zierlein wrote. Amos can disrupt the release and plays with good short area movement in man coverage. He can play in multiple coverage but is most consistent in zone. Amos needs to ramp up his run support and trust his eyes in space, but he has the goods to become a solid starting outside corner. Zierlein wasn't nearly as high on Roberts, but the SMU edge rusher was highly productive during his 5-year college career. Over the past 2 seasons at SMU, Roberts posted 17.5 sacks with 24 tackles for loss and 72 combined tackles overall. Once again, the Steelers dipped into the veteran cornerback well to improve their secondary this offseason. The team signed Darius Slay to replace Dante Jackson in NFL free agency. Slay is projected to start opposite Joey Porter Jr. in 2025. That will likely prevent the Steelers from targeting a cornerback in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. But a day 2 selection to boost the secondary and give the team another potential long-term solution at cornerback is a possibility. According to ESPN's Big Board, Amos is the sixth best cornerback and number 37 overall prospect in the 2025 draft class. Bleacher Report's latest Big Board has Amos ranked number 44 overall. If Amos is a top 50 selection, it's unlikely he will land with the Steelers because Pittsburgh doesn't have a second-round choice. But whether the Steelers see Amos as a first-round possibility or a potential trade-up/trade-back target, the team is clearly doing its due diligence on the cornerback. Amos posted 13 pass defenses and 3 interceptions during his first season with Ole Miss last fall. The cornerback played for Alabama in 2023 after transferring from the Sun Belt Conference. In 5 college seasons, he had 31 pass defenses and 4 interceptions in 61 games. While the Steelers don't have a second-round pick, they do have a selection in each round after the second. That should give the team more flexibility to target needs late on day 2 and day 3. Roberts is firmly a potential day 3 prospect. ESPN's Big Board ranked him the number 177 overall player in the class. Zierlein, though, argued Roberts has a low ceiling as a career backup or special teams player. The production could earn him an opportunity, but it might not be translatable as a base defensive end in the pros, wrote Zierlein. Since the team has great depth along the edge, though, Roberts wouldn't have to play immediately in Pittsburgh. It's possible the Steelers see Roberts as a developmental prospect. As for Pittsburgh's visitors Monday, like Roberts, Tootin is projected to be a day 3 selection. Based on his ranking on ESPN's Big Board, Farmer could be a mid-day 2 pick. NFL rumors, Mike Florio claims some believe Aaron Rodgers still prefers Vikings over Steelers. The Aaron Rodgers saga continues as the 4-time MVP winner has yet to sign with a new team. After being released by the New York Jets, Rodgers is firmly in the mix for the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback gig. However, rumors suggest he may still prefer playing for the Minnesota Vikings instead. There's speculation that the 41-year-old quarterback may make his announcement on Wednesday at Pat McAfee's event in Pittsburgh. It would be quite the spectacle that puts Aaron Rodgers into the spotlight ahead of the NFL draft. But Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk hints at the idea that some believe Rodgers is waiting to see what the Vikings do with J.J. McCarthy. Some still believe he's waiting to see whether the Vikings will decide to pivot from J.J. McCarthy, and that he prefers Minnesota to Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers was originally rumored to be in the running for the quarterback job for the New York Giants and Cleveland Browns. However, both teams have seemingly closed the door on potentially signing the former Super Bowl-winning quarterback. The Steelers seem to be the only team still interested in Rodgers at this time. The Vikings are likely to give McCarthy the starting job after selecting him with the number 10 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. But after the former Michigan Wolverine quarterback suffered a season-ending injury, it's possible Minnesota wants to give him another year of developing on the bench before giving him the starting reins. Florio also claims the option for Rodgers to call it a career is still an option on the table. Additionally, signing Aaron Rodgers isn't a long-term solution for the Steelers either, so there's a possibility the franchise will select a quarterback early in the upcoming draft. There's still a chance Rodgers will retire. Will he make a decision before the draft? The Steelers need a young quarterback, with or without him. Besides, coach Mike Tomlin has called training camp the line of demarcation. Aaron Rodgers finished the 2024 season with 3,897 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns, and 11 interceptions while throwing a 63% completion percentage. He played all 17 games for the Jets and led the team to a 5-12 record. New York enters the 2025 NFL Draft with the number 7 overall and signed Justin Fields as Rodgers' replacement in free agency. And you fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Write to us in the comments.